2, 1. Greetings, I'm Rob Chappers, currently residing in Minnesota, where it's -6, absolutely freezing, but really wonderful. And today is a studio challenge for both myself and Dave Hollingworth, the Dave. The challenge is, can we make this $169 Jackson guitar, 3/4 scale Jackson guitar, sound as good in this studio as this $2,500 Schecter USA custom shop? This is an absolutely ridiculous beast of a guitar. It's incredible. I mean, it looks as good as it sounds. It plays and feels even better than it looks, put it that way. This is a highly affordable miniature version, and it's a full guitar. It's got humbuckers, it's made of wood, it's everything you'd expect from a guitar, but it's 3/4 scale, so it's kind of a miniature guitar, I suppose, aimed at kids. Will this sound as good as this when professionally recorded? Let me show you the gear that I've got mic'd up down in the lockup below. So there you go, Red Dwarf into a 2x12, bunch of pedals. Actually, the reverb and delay sound fantastic, and apparently, according to the guys, they can barely keep them in stock, so they might be worth checking out. So now you're going to hear a backing track. I'm going to play over it, and it's going to cut between both of these guitars, and I want you to witness an interesting phenomenon.
So obviously we shoot all of our videos out in Minnesota, but when it comes to actually making the final thing, most of the time we come back to the UK, and that's where all the editing happens, and we mix the audio. And so I thought it'd be better to shoot this part of the video back here in the UK now that I've had a chance to actually have a look at the waveforms and have a listen through some proper monitors that I'm used to. So really the main difference between these two guitars was that the Jackson was just a lower output, so it didn't have quite as much saturation, and it was definitely a bit quieter as well. There was also a little bit of a difference in the mid-range, around 1K. So to make them sound kind of the way that they do now, I ended up having to hit the preamp in the studio a little bit harder, which basically just meant that I got a little bit more saturation, and I had to boost the volume just a little bit back in the UK. And I also boosted the frequency range around 1K by about 3 decibels. And actually, it didn't take too much work to get these two to sound as they do, which I think is really cool. But that was generally the process. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and me and Rob will see you soon. Take it easy.
The interesting thing from a musical point of view was that really this challenge was less about whether these two guitars can sound alike, or whether this can sound better or worse, or this can sound better, and much more about me as a player and what this did to me as a player and what this didn't do to me as a player. I love this guitar. I actually was discussing with Joe whether or not I would purchase it from him. I'm still very interested. But here's the thing. Because of the limitations this bestowed upon me, so for example, it feels very strange to play at first. All the bends are out, you're over bending on the quarter bends, half bends, but it's so small, you can do these massive reaches, and because you're thinking of all these limitations, you play slightly safer but with more feel. And I felt like I played better on this than I did with this. And I think it's because this limited me, which is something that I've often found in music to be the truth of the situation. But it's up to you. Who do you think won? Do you think the mini $169 Jackson won? Or do you think the $2,500 custom shop, beautiful Schecter won? I mean, we all know which we'd rather take home in a gig bag to show the guys. It's this, right? I mean, it's the swirl. It's insane. It's beautiful. But then, if you put a pair of bare knuckles in this, slap on some 11s like I have, it can absolutely rock your face off. And who doesn't want a tiny V of dark destructive powers? Which means I've been Rob Chappers, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Chappers considerably out.